to talk about Skyscraper. So this is Dwayne Johnson's newest action flick, directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber, who did Dodgeball, We Are the Millers, and Central Intelligence. So just from looking at his history in directing, you can tell that this isn't going to be completely serious, and you can tell that from the trailer as well. We've also got Neve Campbell, who played Sydney in Scream, if you can remember that far back, and Chin Han, who was in The Dark Knight, and Roland Muller is one of the bad guys, and he was from Atomic Blonde, who played Bremovich, personal favourite movie of mine. What can I say about this, really? So Dwayne Johnson plays an amputee who is an ex-FBI, ex-Special Forces kind of character, you know, same. But he loses a leg, and he starts his own security firm. And he gets hired by Chin Han, who gets him to look over his building, which is the Pearl. And it's a 240-story tower in Hong Kong. And it's got everything. It's got a little garden. Well, I say little. It's got a big garden with a big waterfall and water features. It's got shopping. It's got apartments. And it's got this really strange pearl at the top of the tower, which is really freaky and looks absolutely terrifying, but also really thrilling and exhilarating once you're up there as well. For 240 stories without a floor, that's pretty terrifying. And so Chin Han has got a bit of problem with some protection that he got out, and he's got a little flash drive that's got the information on some people. So these people want to get that flash drive off him before he gives it to anyone, and outs all of these big bad, you know, gangster types in Hong Kong. So Roland Muller and other people come into the building, and they decide that they're going to attack him, going through the thing that he loves the most, which is the tower. So they decide to set fire to it. But unfortunately, Dwayne Johnson's family is still in the tower. So he has to go in and he has to try and save them. And it is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I love Dwayne Johnson. And but it's just ridiculous. It is hilarious. It's very CGI heavy. It's very derivative of other action movies. I mean, you've probably heard a lot of people calling it sort of Die Hard 2018. It's very CGI heavy. It's very cliched. Some of the lines were cheesy and predictable and very cringy. I found myself kind of sinking back into my chair like, no, don't say it, don't. Oh, no, you said it. Overall, it's quite predictable, but it is a lot of fun. And there are some bits that are really edge of your seat action. It's really thrilling. And the whole time, you don't really notice that, you know, he's an amputee until something happens. And then you're like, oh yeah, he's got a fake leg. And there's a lot of talk at the moment about the controversy behind that as well. So some people saying, you know, it should have been played by an amputee, because there are disabled actors out there who can play these disabled or even able-bodied characters. And there's sort of two schools of thought on this at the moment. Some people saying, you know, even though he's a disabled character, he still makes him really badass and really cool. But then other people saying, yes, that's great, but he still should be played by a disabled person. And judging from the box office for this film at the moment, I think it's only been out for just over a week, but it hasn't really like broken any records or anything. So I think if you'd have put an unknown actor in Dwayne Johnson's role, it wouldn't have survived. So I think it's good that Dwayne Johnson has done it. Obviously, I can't say anything. I'm not an amputee myself. But I think that he's putting it out there, and there was a lot of videos before the film came out of him interviewing or meeting amputees and getting their personal opinion on it. So it's not like he's gone into this film blind. He's done a bit of research as well. And I think it just opens up a little bit more for characters in the future. So they don't have to just be, you know, able-bodied ex-military. They can be ex-military with a prosthetic leg. So moving past that, and going back to the actual movie, I loved it. It's terrible, but I like a good movie that's a bit bad as well. So I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of laughs. I was there with my friend Zoe, and we were both in stitches by the end of it. And it's just Dwayne Johnson doing what he normally does, not really taking himself too seriously, which works for him and it works for me. So, So Bad It's Good is definitely my short review for Skyscraper.